On the afternoon of August 25, 2015, traffic was crawling like always on the Mongol-Puri flyover. Right in the middle of all that noise and blazing sun, a Delhi police prison van was pushing its way through. Inside the van were 9 inmates heading back after a court appearance in Rohini. From the outside, it just looked like another boring government ride. But inside, 2 crime worlds were locked up together, both ready to wipe each other out. On one side sat Neeraj Bawana, the face of a rising Delhi gang, posted up with his 6 dangerous boys. On the other side was Paras Vikram, the new boss of the rival Neetu Dabodia gang, along with his trusted guy Pradeep Bola. Crazy twist of fate. Both enemies stuck in the same metal cage. The van had barely rolled out of the court complex when the vibe inside shifted. It got dead quiet, like even the air was holding its breath. Neeraj didn't look scared at all, just straight-up hatred locked in his eyes. One of his guys muttered, "Today we settle this." Sitting across, Paras threw a sarcastic jab like, "Y'all really trying to act tough in a prison van?" The talk turned into an argument, and that argument blew up into something nobody can stop. Nobody had weapons, but honestly, their intent was way more dangerous than any weapon. Neeraj and his crew jumped the 2 rivals. One guy went for the throat, another started swinging punches, someone else just launched his whole body at them. Paras screamed, "The cops are right outside. Have you lost your minds?" The only reply he got was fists. In just 10 minutes, that section of the van went completely still. Inside, total silence. That kind of silence, the kind that hits after death. Outside, the cops were just standing there, helpless. They couldn't even open the door. The crowd made it impossible, and whatever was going down inside, there was no way to stop it. Traffic jammed up, and people outside started losing it. Rocks got thrown. Someone even tried to set stuff on fire. The driver, hands shaking, yanked the wheel and floored it straight toward Mahavir Hospital. But before they even got there, it was already over. The doctors just said one thing: nothing can be done. Paras Vikram and Pradeep Bola, their story ended right there. This wasn't just a gang war. This was a straight-up announcement from a man sitting behind Tihar's bars, a guy whose rule didn't run on walls, but on fear. That day, Delhi saw how even a prison van could turn into a gangster's throne, and how blood can crown a king. That same day, the underworld saw a new name. A new kind of fear was born. Neeraj Saharawat, aka Neeraj Bawana. Now let's rewind the story, back to where it all started. Far from Delhi's chaos, in the quiet lanes of Bawana village, a regular kid was growing up. His name was Neeraj Saharawat. From the outside, just an ordinary guy, but inside, something was burning. Something that would shake the whole city one day. His father, Prem Singh, worked as a conductor on a DTC bus, punching tickets just to keep the household running. The last week of every month, always tight, always stressful. Neeraj figured it out early. Poverty teaches you how to bow down. And he told himself, "I ain't one of those who bends." As he got older, his dreams got bigger. School books left behind. His mind got filled with crime stories instead, especially the tales of Dawood Ibrahim. Those pulled him in hard. He'd tell his friends, one day, Delhi's gonna have its own Dawood. Chasing that dream, he changed his identity, from Neeraj Saharawat to Neeraj Bawana. He turned his village name into his shield. People thought he was just some reckless kid, but inside, that fire was slowly finding its way out. Small fights, then theft, then extortion. He climbed the crime ladder fast. At 19, the cops caught him for the first time. People thought jail would break him, but nah, he came out even tougher. As soon as he got out, he built his own gang, and he set his sights on people with deep pockets: businessmen, factory owners, property dealers. Then came 2012. That's when he crossed the line. A call went out to sitting MLA Jaswant Rana from Narela. His voice on the phone: 50 lakh or deal with the consequences. An open threat to a politician. This wasn't just about money. This was fear, loud and clear. That one call took him from a street kid to standing among Delhi's big gangsters. After that, in Bawana industrial area, businessmen's heartbeats picked up as soon as evening hit. Every phone ring came with fear attached. But ruling Delhi, that ain't easy. There was already a name echoing: Neetu Dabodia, the smartest and most ruthless gangster of his time. Before clashing, Neeraj thought it through. He told himself, going solo is stupid. So he became Neetu's shadow, his right-hand man. That's where the foundation was laid for a path that would later drown Delhi in blood and fear. Whenever Neetu was locked up, Neeraj handled everything outside. Extortion calls, threats, money deals, all ran on his signal. Neeraj was learning quietly, picking up every move, understanding every trick, like a student noting down every weakness of his master. But in the world of power, the learner eventually dreams of ruling. That same hunger started rising inside Neeraj. He stopped giving Neetu his cut and made it clear, I don't work under anyone anymore. Now under Delhi's sky, 2 crowns were being forged, and both knew, in the end, only one head gets to wear it. The air was thick with rivalry. All it needed was a spark. That spark turned out to be Sonu Pandit, the same Sonu who once used to be Neeraj's most trusted guy. Neetu started suspecting him, thought he was playing both sides, feeding info back to Neeraj. Suspicion turned real ugly, and in 2012, Neetu's guys snatched Sonu straight from his village. They dragged him out to some deserted tube well spot, middle of nowhere, nobody around for miles. Out there, Sonu begged for mercy. Bro, if I messed up, just tell me. But the only answer he got? Straight beatdowns. They hit him so brutally, his screams just got swallowed by the darkness. In the end, they choked him to death. But the brutality didn't stop there. They took his body to the forests of Karnal, poured petrol on it, and lit it up, so there'd be no identity left. No trace, nothing. Right then and there, a rivalry got planted in Delhi's underworld, one that would be watered with blood for years. When news of Sonu Pandit's burned body reached Neeraj Bawana, something inside him snapped. He just said quietly, now this is personal. At that point, this wasn't some street-level gang fight anymore. This turned into a personal war burning inside Neeraj, the kind he believed could only end in blood. Neeraj openly announced that what happened to Sonu would be avenged. He gathered his crew and said, there's no backing out now. Revenge became the gang's new rule. He called Sonu's death justice, and rallied his guys so hard they didn't just see him as a boss, they saw him as a brother. After that, fear started showing up all over Delhi's streets. First target, Sandeep, the same guy who helped Neetu take out Sonu. In 2014, Neeraj tracked him down and ended his story right there. After that, another close associate of Neetu, Pradeep, got riddled with bullets. Now it was obvious, Neetu himself was next. But Neetu wasn't the type to sit scared. He hit back, got Neeraj's right-hand man, Monu Wazirpur, taken out. After that, places like Rani Bagh, Narela, Bawana, Mundka, everywhere, guns started going off in broad daylight. Within just 3 years, more than 9 guys from both gangs were laid out on the streets. For the cops, this whole thing was like a dark pit, easy to step into, but no way out. Then suddenly, luck flipped. In October 2013, Delhi Police Special Cell took down Neetu Dabodia in an encounter. With Neetu gone, the underworld throne was wide open. And right at that moment, Neeraj was out on parole. As soon as he got the news, instead of going back to court, he chose to disappear. He said, an opportunity like this doesn't come twice. He jumped parole and went on the run. The moment he got out, he pulled his scattered crew back together. And before anyone even realized it, he was sitting on top as Delhi's uncrowned king. Now the game was in his hands, and the whole city knew. The guy wearing the crown was right there. Neeraj wasn't just some trigger-happy gang boss. His real game? His brain. Where Neetu believed in going head-on against the cops, Neeraj figured it out early. You don't rule Delhi with guns, you rule it with strategy. He used politics as his shield, and turned his uncle, former NLA Ranbir Shokeen, into his political armor. Crores of rupees were poured into elections. That money didn't come from any job or legit business. It came from extortion, middlemen rackets, and land grabs. Neeraj used to say, real power is making the system work with you. And that's exactly what he was doing. Slowly, his empire started spreading beyond Delhi's borders. Whether it was Haryana's Sunil Rathi or Uttar Pradesh's Amit Bora, big names kept joining his network. This wasn't some local gang anymore. It had turned into an interstate crime syndicate, with its own political face and its own system, which Neeraj liked to call tax. But in reality, it was straight-up extortion. For Delhi police, Neeraj wasn't just another criminal anymore. He had turned into a walking nightmare. Cops from multiple states were hunting him, but for 18 months, he stayed untouchable, like a shadow. His biggest strength? His smarts. He almost completely stopped using phones. All orders ran through internet-based encrypted chats. His location changed every single day, sometimes Uttar Pradesh, sometimes Haryana, sometimes Kolkata, sometimes Mumbai. The police had already caught more than 35 of his guys, but Neeraj kept slipping away like smoke through fingers. One frustrated officer even said, "This ain't a man, it's a whole system." But every story eventually hits its final turn. Neeraj Bawana's climax started on the cold morning of April 7, 2015. Delhi Police Special Cell got a tip, and it had the whole department on edge. Neeraj is in Delhi today, and he's coming to meet his family. At 5:45 a.m., a silent trap was set on main Rohtak Road. The road was empty. The air felt tense. Then, from a distance, car headlights appeared. The police signaled it to stop, but the car sped up instead, like it was racing death itself. After a few seconds of chase, the car got boxed in from all sides. Neeraj tried to pull out a weapon and muttered under his breath, "Today, we're getting out again." But this time, luck wasn't on his side. Special Cell commandos hit fast, like lightning, and pinned Neeraj down along with his associate Mohammad Rashid Khan. That 18-month-long game of cat and mouse, done, right there. Delhi's sharpest criminal mind was finally behind bars. Everyone breathed easy, like the story was over. But nah, the real scary chapter was just getting started. Neeraj got thrown into Tihar jail's high-security ward. Cops thought, all right, now we can relax. They had no clue. His body might be locked up, but his mind was freer and more dangerous than ever. For him, Tihar wasn't punishment, it turned into a money-making office. Smuggled-in phones gave him full freedom to run extortion, collections, and gang ops. His close guy Naveen Bali got caught demanding 50 lakh from a businessman, right from inside. Outside, his financiers, fixers, and loyal shooters stood ready for every order. One day, when police raided his house in Bawana village, even the officers were shocked. Illegal weapons, ammo, and even a bulletproof Scorpio were recovered. They even had to arrest his father, Prem Singh. It was clear now. The Bawana family was part of the whole crime machine. While sitting in jail, Neeraj was getting access to things he probably never could have outside. New allies, new power, new opportunities. That's where he met Tilu Tajpuria, another seriously sharp player from Delhi. Tilu had beef with Jitender, aka Gogi, going all the way back to college days. A college election put them head-to-head, and within a few years, that rivalry turned into a full-blown gang war that cost dozens of lives. One day inside jail, Tilu said, "Your enemy's enemy is usually your friend." Neeraj smiled and replied, "Then let's play big." Just like that, they shook hands. This wasn't some small alliance. This was the biggest merger Delhi's underworld had ever seen, and it made the future way more dangerous. Now, two major power blocks were clearly visible. On one side, Neeraj Bawana and Tilu Tajpuria's strong alliance with open backing from Punjab's notorious Devinder Bambiha. On the other side, the Gogi gang, backed by Lawrence Bishnoi, Kala Jatheri, and several other opportunistic dons. This war wasn't limited to Delhi anymore. It had spread beyond borders, from Goldie Brar sitting in Canada to Kapil Sangwan active in the UK. Tihar wasn't just a jail anymore. It had become a secret war room for two massive crime empires. Every move made in silence, every plot getting more dangerous with time. And inside that dark war room, a plan was taking shape, one that would later add a chapter to India's crime history that still sends chills down people's spines. The date, September 24th, 2021. Rohini Court looked like any normal day. Same courthouse steps, lawyers rushing around, cops shouting, files shuffling everywhere. But courtroom number 207 was hiding a storm that day, and nobody had a clue. Jitender, aka Gogi, was brought in for his court hearing. Inside the courtroom, it was packed with black coats everywhere, lawyers all over the place. In that same crowd, there were two more faces, blending in perfectly. Clean lawyer outfits, files in their hands, confidence on their faces. Nothing about them looked suspicious. One of them quietly said to the other, "Everything's set." The moment Gogi stepped up near the stand, out of nowhere, two pistols came out, slicing through the air. Next second, gunshots exploded through the courtroom. People ducked under chairs. Lawyers ran for the doors trying to save their lives. Someone yelled, get down," but by then, it was already too late. Gogi was riddled with bullets and dropped to the ground. The police didn't waste a second. Both attackers, Rahul and Jagdeep, were taken down on the spot. The Temple of Justice turned into a battlefield in seconds. Bullet marks covered the walls, and the air smelled like gunpowder. When the investigation started, the truth that came out shook the system to its core. This wasn't some sudden attack, it was a perfectly planned blueprint. The strings of this whole operation were being pulled by Tilu Tajpuria, sitting inside Mandoli jail. Meetings were happening over WhatsApp calls from inside jail. Training was given by a fresh law graduate, Umang Yadav, and the weapons were supplied through Neeraj Bawana's most trusted guy, Dabas. One officer said in shock, "They didn't even spare the courtroom." This wasn't just a gang war. This was a direct hit on the justice system itself. Criminals had proved their reach extended even to places where the law felt safest. After this incident, Neeraj Bawana's name shot even higher in the underworld. It felt like Delhi had slipped under a new shadow of fear. But the story doesn't end here. The darkest, deepest truth of Neeraj's life was still left. Amid all the noise of blood, plots, and gang wars, there was one corner of his life very few people knew about: his love. A side that made this brutal story even more complicated. Neeraj had married a girl he truly loved. There was no show-off in that relationship, just trust. But one day in jail he got news that his wife was seriously ill and needed immediate surgery. Legally, doctors needed his signature to go ahead. The court granted him just 6 hours of custody parole under heavy security. Armed commandos, bulletproof jackets, a long convoy of vehicles front and back. It looked like a high-value terrorist transfer. But sitting in the middle of that convoy, Neeraj didn't look like a don that day. He looked like a worried husband. At the hospital, he checked the file, signed it with trembling hands, and looked at his wife and said, "Everything's gonna be okay." A few minutes later, he was back in that world again, where the walls are high and a man stands alone. On one side of his life, bullets, gangs, fear, darkness. On the other, love, fear, and a faint bit of humanity. Neeraj Bawana's story is maybe about trying to understand this dual face. On one side, a flood of blood. On the other, a man's fragile heartbeat. But the scariest truth of his life wasn't outside. It was hidden inside his own home. In that same house, he had a sister. Quiet, simple, living her life her own way. She fell in love with a guy named Amit. Amit belonged to a caste that Neeraj's family didn't consider equal. Despite all the restrictions, the girl refused to give up the relationship. When this news crossed Tihar's walls and reached Neeraj, the feudal mindset buried inside him flared up like fire. The same man who fought the law to save his wife's life now saw his sister's love as a stain on family honor. Sitting inside a jail cell, he gave the order in a cold voice, "Take them both out." Hearing that, even his own guys went silent for a moment. One night in October 2018, two bikes rolled out of the darkness. The moment they spotted the couple on the road, bullets started raining down. Amit dropped right there, and Neeraj's own sister was left writhing on the road, covered in blood. This was Neeraj Bawana's most brutal face, where fake honor, caste, and ego meant more than his own sister's life. His most shameful crime wasn't against a rival gang, it was against his own blood. And the reason? Just love. Even today, Neeraj sits locked in that same high-security cell in Tihar, where he's not even allowed to watch basic TV. Sometimes he goes on about hunger strikes, demanding perks like Chota Rajan. Other times he throws accusations at jail authorities for mismanagement. Whenever he's taken to a hospital for medical emergencies, the security is so tight it looks like a foreign president is being escorted. But outside those bars, his empire is still breathing. Police carry out raids, crows and cash and bulletproof vehicles get seized, dozens of his men get arrested, and still, within weeks, the network rebuilds itself. New recruits keep joining, new enemies keep popping up. These days, a rising gangster named Himanshu Bao is starting to challenge the fear he built. Neeraj Bawana might be locked tight inside a 6x8-foot cell in Tihar, but his fear flows far beyond those walls. That fear, that network, that dark shadow, it's still moving through the air of Delhi NCR. This story proves one thing. You can lock up a man, but not the terror he created. This is the story of a monster who sits behind bars, but whose fear still lives in every street, every city, and every system. So yeah, that was the story of Delhi's infamous gangster, Neeraj Bawana. See you in the next story.